Hi everyone, and welcome to Sparking Your Wellbeing with Life Is. And we have a very special guest with us today, Jennifer Crocker, Villegas, and we're going to be talking to her shortly. But first of all, I would like to pay my respects to the traditional owners of this land, to the elders, past, present, and emerging, and also to the custodial owners of the land that Jennifer is on at the moment. And we're going to find more about that soon. First of all, let's hand over to Jennifer, and she's going to talk to us a little bit about how things started, how her life unfurled, how her creativity started blossoming, and all the unexpected turns along the way.
Well, hi, thanks for having me. Yeah, it's been quite the journey. I think, I've recently said to someone that I'm very thankful of the journey that I've had, because growing up as a lesbian in a southern town in the United States, in a Southern Baptist church town, and a Southern Baptist church itself, has really shaped me to be able to open my eyes to people that are in minority groups and people that are often disregarded and treated as less than. And I'm thankful for that, because that's given me a voice. And through my life journey, through that, the trauma of the church, through the trauma of an abusive relationship, has all led me to now, to where I'm allowing my creativity and my voice through my writing to be born and hopefully to enact change in my society and the society of the world. So as a child, my parents always told me that basically I just always saw injustice and wanted to fight for that. And I found in myself that I was always trying to help animals, rescue animals. And then I found myself trying to rescue people, which unfortunately led me down the wrong path, because people can't be rescued. You can aid people and help them along and be there for them, but they have to save themselves. And I've learned that along my journey. But I really think just through all my upbringing and from the very beginning, I have had this strong sense of injustice that I needed to correct. And just in the past 10 years, I think I've really found the path of my voice through writing, of wanting to correct these injustices in our society. And that's really helped empower me. And I doubt myself. And then I have to remember, no, my voice can be heard. And I need to keep pushing.
So Jennifer, I understand that there were quite a lot of hurdles or challenges to get over. We all experience different challenges and hurdles. That's kind of a given. But I think particularly people that aren't seen as the majority, which is, just speaks to how far human society needs to come, really. But as far as your activism, your own personal, sexuality and having to stand up for your rights, but also, I guess, being a creative, what were the challenges? How did you move through them or overcome it?
As far as the creative side, I'm still maneuvering that. I've always been creative, but I didn't get into the, I guess you would say, business of creativity until I was it was about 10 years ago, I'll say. And so that I'm still navigating. And yeah, some people look at what I'm doing as I don't have a real job. And that's, that it's not my responsibility for their feelings or their thoughts. I know my path. My path is to write and to create media and images to put out there for people to see or to read that will make them feel a part of society, that will let them be seen. Everyone should be able to see themselves on screen or in a book. Everyone should have representation. And I think that's really important, and also to enact change in the world. And that's my path, and what people think about that is not my issue. But also growing up as a minority in a very small Southern Baptist town, that brings its own challenges. But I will say it brought me to be able to see how other people that might not also just be lesbian, but how other people that are in the same kind of minority boat lets me want to research and look into their challenges. And it makes me extremely empathetic towards that. And I'm very appreciative towards that. And it makes me want to fight that much harder. And then, but yeah, the struggles are real, but I've noticed them more as I've gotten older and been able to look back on growing up, and also and what's going on now. There's actually a city in the United States, Arkansas, that just signed into law that all medical care workers are allowed to deny life-saving or any kind of medical procedures to LGBTQ people or any people that are against their religion. So that could be people of Muslim faith or anything that they claim that goes against religion. So fighting against those kinds of things, and still, even though I'm legally married in the States, they're still trying to bring back up in the Supreme Court of being able to overturn the fact that my marriage is legal. So just having to constantly have those things like just into your brain, and we see every day here of LGBTQ people that have been murdered just for being themselves. And so those kind of things really enrage me, but also want to push me to put out as many messages, whether that be in books or film or interviews, that I can, to just help people understand that, that everyone should be loved, everyone should be accepted.
So I guess, Jennifer, you've been through the most harrowing and amazing experiences, and just saying you're so courageous. And I really want to thank you for sharing that, because I know that a lot of people will relate to what you're saying and draw inspiration and courage from it. So thank you. I guess the question that I have is, when did your consciousness kind of rise up, or your will rise up and just say, I can't do things like this anymore if I want to protect my well-being, shift my well-being, this is what has to happen?
I think for me, and thank you for saying that about the courageous part, but I don't see myself that way. I see myself as just trying to live my life and better the world for others, hopefully. That's the goal. But the shift in my well-being, I don't think there was an exact moment to where there was a shift. I think it's been a slow progression, and I'm constantly learning and growing and healing. And I think that is the point in life, is to continue to grow and to continue to heal stuff in your family line for the next generation. And I believe that's very important. As far as my well-being, it's just kind of learning slowly over time things to help me overcome trauma that I've gone through, and learn what works for me. And I've learned creativity and nature are very healing for me. Creativity, if I have something traumatic that happens to me, or it may have happened to me 10, 20 years ago, and it still can come back up, there's triggers. For me, writing that down and getting it out, getting those demons out of my body and out of my head onto physical paper or physical phone these days in my notes is extremely helpful way for me to cope. I put some things that have happened to me in stories I write or books I write, things for film. I put that kind of stuff into those stories. And sometimes I just write out just the raw emotions of what I'm feeling at the time. And sometimes that comes through as poetry. And that's been very healing. Another thing is jogging, love-hate relationship with jogging. The nature experience I love. The jogging after I'm done with it, I also love. It releases a lot of endorphins. It's great. I really do enjoy it. But some days I can't motivate myself. And I think that's just life. And yeah, and I've learned through another creative thing that really helps my well-being that I've learned slowly over time is cooking. Just to get in there, free range, create whatever I want with love and passion, and then be able to feed it to people that I love. That is very healing. But it's also, you're in there and you're doing a creative process, but you're also in control. So that is something that is very helpful.
So Jennifer, the knowledge, wisdom, and experience that you've shared with us has just been amazing and
thank you.
Quite profound. So thank you. And I guess I just wanted to ask, what advice would you share with others about helping them to spark their well-being? And then maybe some ideas on what you do daily to keep the balance.
I guess advice to others can only be stuff that I've learned myself, and everybody kind of works in different ways. But creativity has been a very large tool for me, and it took time to learn that. But you know, just to get the trauma out of your body and onto paper or a canvas or whatever your media is, and whatever you learn that it is, that's very important. My wife, she just loves to take care of the rose bushes, and for her that's very healing. For me, it's writing. It's also cooking, and like I mentioned previously, just getting in there and just having that space that's my own and creating and expressing my love and passion through that. And then just into nature. Nature for me is such a healer, and it truly can help me absorb a different energy than what I take on from others and to reset. And so that is incredibly important for me. And so I would tell people, yeah, to find your creativity, find your passions, find what will really help you to heal. But humor is a great tool. Humor, mine can sometimes be dark, sometimes not, but it's really helped me through some really tough times with coping with things. And also I would just say that talking to someone, like just getting it out somehow. I found healing in talking to someone. It doesn't have to be someone in particular. It can be your closest friend. It can be a therapist. It can come out to a stranger that you might feel comfortable to. But getting it out there helps release the grip that the trauma has on you. And I would say that. And for me daily, what I try to do is the things that I previously mentioned, but also self-talk is really important. One of the most toxic things that we can do to ourselves, which I am a perpetrator and victim of, is talking down to myself. Through the abusive relationship I was in, I learned that voice that of hers became somehow a voice inside my own head. And I'm still trying to unlearn that. And I think just in society in general, we kind of learn to self-doubt or talk down to ourselves because of these impossible images of what society thinks we should be. So just really learning to turn off that voice that's talking down to you and turn up the voice that empowers you and gives you praise. And that's still a struggle for me, because I sometimes have this fallacy of that if I tell myself how amazing I am, then that's me being arrogant. And I don't want to become arrogant or to let those things take over me. I want to be authentic. And so I have to try to find that balance. But I'm learning now that telling myself that I'm amazing and not putting myself down is not being arrogant. That's self-care. That's well-being. And I would like to say that you never know in life what kind of struggles people have gone through. So to always be kind is extremely important. This fallacy that this person is better than this person for race or being LGBTQ or straight or et cetera, it can go on, religion, money, that it's all fallacies. We're one human race, and everyone should be treated with the same kindness and love that we would get to anyone. And I think that's just a very important final message.
Thank you, Jennifer. It's been wonderful spending time with you. And
you too.
Yeah. And for people that want to get in touch with you, the work that you do, you've written a book. I know you're working on a screenplay. What's the best way for them to, I guess, send you an email, or how would you prefer it? And what's the address for that?
Yeah, there's I have a Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. It's all the same handle. It's at JC Villegas 2016, and that's the handle for all three. And then also, if you're interested in my novel Journey of a Cotton Blossom, that can be purchased on Amazon, but also through my website, jcvillegasbooks.com.
Beautiful. Thank you. And I'll put all the details, obviously, on this as well, on the video. So have a look if you missed that. But thank you so much.